Now tonight, 3 days ahead of the Super Bowl, we want to take a deeper look at the state of the NFL. It's been one of the most successful seasons on the field, but one of the most tumultuous ones off the field. Our Kaylee Hartung is covering the Super Bowl for us in Los Angeles and has this in-depth report.
He tried it! Ball game! How on earth did he stay on his feet? But he did.
You might never see this season a better hard-earned run.
Any way you slice it.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe what we just saw.
The NFL has had a season for the history books.
And one of the great divisional games of all time is pandemonium on the field.
But as we head into Super Bowl Sunday,
Intercepted by the Rams. Cincinnati is heading to the Super Bowl.
Flores was fired.
the spotlight is just as bright off the field.
Brian Flores now suing the NFL and 3 teams for alleged racial bias in hiring.
He goes so far as to say the NFL in general is run like a plantation.
One of the NFL's most recognizable coaches stepping down.
He's been doing that for years, talking behind people's back.
A new allegation of sexual harassment.
Women were used as sex objects and tools to increase sales.
These are not the storylines that the NFL wants people to be talking about in the run-up to the Super Bowl.
So how did we get here?
The racism, the misogyny, the homophobia, it's all part of the NFL's dirty secrets, but the problem is that the business is doing great.
Award-winning sports columnist Bill Rhoden is one of many frustrated with the NFL.
Flores was bold enough to step out there. It will be interesting to see how many players back him up, how many coaches back him up.
I think it's painful for every black or minority player, coach, executive. This be the year 2022, and we're still dealing with a lot of the same things.
To the end zone, touchdown Miami.
In his lawsuit, Flores names the league and 3 teams as participants in racist hiring practices, including the Miami Dolphins, who, despite having a winning record during his tenure, fired Flores as head coach for alleged poor collaboration. Flores has been coaching for 14 years and is widely considered a highly qualified candidate to lead an NFL team.
You've coached in the league. You've played in the league. Were you surprised to hear these allegations by Brian Flores?
I can't say that I was surprised, but I am disappointed. It's been the elephant in the room for quite some time.
Well, everybody knew. He's just putting it black and white, but it's always hard to prove.
So when the New York Giants came calling, Flores says he was ecstatic and ready to turn a page until he received a text from New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick, congratulating him on landing the job. It was 3 days before his meeting was scheduled.
Given the fact that I hadn't even interviewed, it didn't feel right. So I asked, Bill through text, are you hearing something I'm not hearing?
Flores says the exchange led him to believe his interview was simply to comply with the league's Rooney Rule that mandates teams consider at least one minority candidate for their head coaching positions, and that he was not in serious contention for the top job because of the color of his skin.
Just kind of gives you proof. But is that proof enough? Probably not.
Flores' lawsuit also calls out race norming, a formula used for years by the NFL in concussion settlements to evaluate cognitive damage. It assumes black players start at a lower intellectual level than white players, making it harder for them to qualify for compensation.
So it just gives you how they view black people as being inferior intellectually to white people.
The NFL agreed to remove race norming from the settlement process last year after a series of ABC News reports, saying the NFL is committed to finding alternative testing techniques that will lead to diagnostic accuracy without employing race-based norms. In addition to racial discrimination in his lawsuit, the former coach accuses Dolphins owner Stephen Ross of attempting to pay him $100,000 for each loss in the 2019 season, so the Dolphins could get the #1 pick in the NFL draft. Ross has denied those allegations as false, malicious, and defamatory.
Why would you throw out the integrity of all your hard work to tank a game? Maybe an owner or someone is wishing that, but I myself cannot ever imagine experiencing that.
Since the Flores lawsuit first made waves last week, the league has sent out a flurry of statements refuting any claims of organized discriminatory hiring practices. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell met with civil rights advocates and released a memo to team owners calling efforts to increase diversity among the league's coaching staff unacceptable.
They are very serious matters to us on all levels, and we need to make sure we get to the bottom of all of them.
Did you hear anything from the commissioner that makes you feel like he understands the frustration so many feel?
Frankly, I think it frustrates Roger Goodell, because at the end of the day, he works for these people. You know, he works for them. And they've basically said, screw you, Roger, we're going to hire who we want to hire.
The league's 32 white owners under the microscope more than ever.
Business is good, and nobody has found the leverage yet to hurt them. And how do you hurt a multi-billionaire? I mean, I don't know.
You can't make owners do, billionaire owners do, what they don't want to do when you answer to them because they're the ones paying you.
In trouble.
Washington Commanders owner Dan Snyder also facing calls to sell the team as sexual harassment allegations continue to come to light against him and team executives.
He left his hand on the middle of my thigh until I physically removed it.
That allegation made by a former employee before Congress last week at a hearing where 6 former employees added new testimony to previously surfaced accusations over the past 2 decades that there was a toxic work environment and that women who work for the team frequently face sexual harassment. In a statement to ABC News, Snyder apologized for those other employees who were mistreated and denied the new allegation categorically. The women urging the NFL to release the results of a 2020 investigation into the franchise's work environment, which led the NFL to fine Snyder $10 million. Some emails released from that investigation did send shockwaves across the league.
John Gruden's career is over. It's over.
The Super Bowl winning former head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, resigning back in October after it was publicly revealed he repeatedly used racist, sexist, and homophobic language in emails over a 7-year period.
I'm saddened for the Raiders organization. I'm saddened for the people that were offended by it. I'm saddened for Coach Gruden. It's a sad commentary.
In his resignation, Gruden apologizing, saying, "I'm sorry, I never meant to hurt anyone." An NFL source telling ABC News there is still no change or any plan to release additional emails from that Washington football team investigation beyond the Gruden emails. The league this week did commit to investigating the new allegations brought forward to Congress.
I hope that it's deeply investigated and made sure it never happens again.
As the league gets ready for Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, a recognition by some that change and transparency is necessary.
I think there will be change. I don't know if there's going to be meaningful change. I'm not optimistic about that. And there probably will not be meaningful change until players in the league force the change.
We are the ones that have to make sure we bring diversity deeper into our NFL and make the NFL inclusive and diverse organization that allows everyone the opportunity to be successful.
Now they chase him. Spins around, and the ball's out!
Roger Goodell calling for change there. We'll see if that comes about. Kaylee Hartung joins us now from the NFL Experience in Los Angeles. Kaylee, despite all of the off-the-field trouble for the NFL, as the league gets ready for the big game, the league is touting a number of successes for the NFL this year. Give us a sense of some of those.
Yeah, Lindsay, the NFL put out as successful of a product on the field as it perhaps ever has. The playoffs were electric, absolutely electric, and doing this all in the middle of a pandemic. About 95% of NFL players are vaccinated, and the NFL's chief medical officer really credits the teams, the players, and the staffs for taking proactive measures to prevent any outbreaks this season, especially through the Omicron surge. There are some serious, weighty issues that the NFL needs to address to chart a path forward, but there are wins that this league can celebrate, Lindsay.
And as I mentioned, you are there at the NFL Experience. I imagine the focus of the fans there is the big game.
Yeah, absolutely, Lindsay. This is where you come to celebrate the season, the culmination with Super Bowl 56. And while Commissioner Goodell's press conference the other day was filled with questions about the Flores lawsuit and the investigation in Washington, that's not what you find fans talking about around here. They are here to be entertained, and the NFL is in the business of entertaining. And here we have a matchup in this Super Bowl, Lindsay, that no one would have predicted coming into this season. Everyone in LA is excited for this place to be host to a Super Bowl for the first time in nearly 30 years. Of course, the Rams able to host the game in their own house, and the Bengals looking to win their first Super Bowl ever. This is a game with more storylines than I have time to mention here. It's like something out of a movie script, from the quarterbacks to the coaches the redemption stories. This game has all the makings of must-see TV if the playoffs were any indication. And Lindsay, LA is excited about it. NFL fans are excited about it. And let me not forget to mention that epic halftime show we've been promised is something
that's
to tune in for
before
too,
we
Lindsay.
even talk about the music that's going to be there. Lots of excitement. Kaylee Hartung, our thanks to you for bringing it to us.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.